Recently, Captain African America actor Anthony Mackie decided to declare that Captain America isn't really about America. Now, later on, he went to clarify and state that he's a proud American, but as we know, the fact that he's Hollywood, which are full of commies, Senator McCarthy found that out way back in the 1950s, and the fact that he's a liberal, and we know, again, how they hate America, and then he's black, which unfortunately, overwhelming majority of Negroes are just by nature commies based on the propaganda that they consume almost exclusively via the Democrat Party. Which also brings me to another portion of this video where Donald Trump, when he met with GOP, the House GOP in Florida, and he sounded more pro black than pro blacks when he made a statement about the 14th Amendment and how it was meant for the children of slaves and not illegal immigrants to exploit loopholes. But when you listen to black Democrats, which are basically pro blacks, it's one and the same. These are the same people that are still crying racism over illegal immigrants getting deported because they have bought into hook, line, and sinker the whole globalism narrative. Even when you're talking about deporting people who don't have white guilt and have no issue with, like this Hispanic did not too long ago where he pointed the finger and said, no more money for you. And he was talking about black folks when we were still living under Joe Biden's presidency. And then whatever dumb black chick that they can find, they put him on TV and talking about Nazism, as they always do, but they've continued to talk about that since these deportations have been happening of illegals. And so when you pair Anthony Mackie and Donald Trump, it might sound funny, but the reality is Donald Trump is obviously the most pro American between the two, but most notably, he's the most pro black between the two. Because Anthony Mackie, by the nature of him being a Negro liberal in Hollywood, he co signs all of this commie propaganda, all of this anti American propaganda. Now, as a result, Trump, since he's been doing these mass deportations, he's been getting more Negro support, far more than what actually voted for him. But in reality, these Negroes have always been anti American. They prefer classifying themselves as anything else but American because, again, they spew the slavery narrative, the racial oppression narrative, and they feel America is a white country. They don't see themselves as American. So when I saw this Negro make this statement, just him being black alone, it makes sense that he would say this. Because again, black people don't view themselves as American. In a lot of ways, not too different from foreign enemies, just based on a lot of Negroes' stance on things, which is why the Democrat Party typically puts so called black people out on the front lines to push uh, a large portion of Democrat Party agendas. But anyway, we'll see if this has any effect on the box office. You know how I feel. No Trump supporter should be giving Hollywood money. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you might as well vote for Kamala Harris. Because I always feel what's more important than voting in elections is voting with your wallet. Because imagine if tens of millions of people weaponize their wallet and refuse to support institutions and entities that were clearly against them. But anyway, we'll see how the box office turns out. And this is just also another example of why I stated in a previous video I wanted Trump's attempts to reach out to Hollywood to fail. Because these people are the enemy and they do not need a hand up. If anything, they need a boot on their neck pushing them down into the failure that they deserve.